Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to have a video. This is a paid request from Antonio. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And Banditas is the film of today, which didn't really have any high hopes for. Thought it was okay. It's a Western. Penelope Cruz and Salma Hayek are the stars. Wouldn't say I was ever a diehard Penelope Cruz fan, but I thought she was decent in this movie. Always liked Selma Hayek from Dusk Till Dawn, The Faculty, Desperado, Everly, which I think is an underrated one. Pretty much they're two ladies from different ways of life in the West. Takes place in Mexico. Penelope Cruz, she is the daughter of this poor farmer whose land's being taken away and she wants to fight back. She confronts the land baron going, "Why are you taking our land?" The land baron is the main bad guy of the film, played by Dwight Yoakam, which I've seen him in quite a few stuff, Panic Room being one of them. Good actor. Meanwhile, you have Selma Hayek, who is much more privileged, part of a rich family. Her father seems to be working with the land baron. Much more of a, I said privileged, but Selma Hayek just knows a lot more about the rich life. Well, one day, both their dads get screwed over. Selma Hayek's dad gets killed. Penelope Cruz's dad gets wounded. They both want revenge. They both get the idea to rob this bank, but then they realize that the other person is there, and they tell the other person to skedaddle and get the hell out of Dodge. But then they have to escape, and maybe they'll work together. They definitely don't. They definitely don't want to quit, and they're not going to let the other get in their way. They even have a bit of a fight in a church over this money that was taken. So one thing leads to another, and they go find this guy played by Sam Shepard. May he rest in peace. Good established actor, older established actor. Really liked him in Cold in July, among other films. He's a guy that used to rob banks, and he's able to teach them, and they get a bit of a training montage. You find out Penelope Cruz can shoot, but Salma can't, but she is good at knives. So one's good with guns, one's good with knives. Other bits of training. At one point, hanging off a very high ridge. What's this going to help? It's not robbing. This the hard part. The hard part is getting away, and this is a way of getting away. But the training also allows our two characters to bond with each other. Other people, recognizable people in the film. Steve Zahn's in the movie, which I enjoyed, and Saving Silverman and Joyride, and among other movies. He's a guy that's kind of graduated detective school, but he likes to approach things in a CSI scientific method, which is apparent in the first half, but kind of you don't really see as much of it in the second half. But he's hired to investigate as these ladies start robbing all these banks, and he's investigating what's going on until ultimately our two ladies get to the guy, try to talk with him, also try to seduce him, but then ultimately shows him some evidence where he starts to believe in them, and then the three of them decide to rob some banks until you get to the finale of the film. Now, the film's not really original in terms of plot, story. You know, the evil land baron, we gotta take care of his ass. There's not a whole lot of action. There's little moments. A few of the bank heists. A little bit on this train at the end of the film. But it's not a lot of fisticuffs, shooting. This really isn't the movie. If you're looking for that kind of stuff. It is rated PG-13. And while it might be a detriment to some people, the movie has a fairly light-hearted, playful tone to it. Which I know is weird because again one of the characters' fathers get killed, but the way the two leads interact with each other, mess around with each other, give each other flack, give each other crap, they work well together. Salma and Penelope. I don't know if they worked together before, or if they're just friends, but you definitely buy the chemistry of them bonding with each other. And it looks like they're having a lot of fun. There's some fun, quirky moments. For example, Salma would get the hiccups if she gets nervous. Sort of like the first time in training trying to use a gun, among a few others moments. There's some funny bits with that coming into place. Steve Zahn, I gotta say, is one lucky sumbitch because when the girls find him, they're dressed up in these scantily clad clothes. Can't say more because it's PG-13. But they get on top of him while he's naked. They tie him up. His genitals are protected by a hat. And like one sees it, looks away, and someone goes, "Oh, what's the big deal? That's not bad." "Well, you never been with a guy before?" "Oh, yes, I have." "Oh, no, you haven't." So, obviously, Penelope's more the virgin, Salma isn't. And because they bonded by this point, hey, you should try kissing him. You know, that's one good way to practice. Plus, I don't believe you. I think you really are a virgin. So Penelope kisses Steve Zahn, and then Selma's like, "Oh, that's not how you kiss." And then she kisses Steve Zahn. I'm like, Steve Zahn, man. How lucky is this sumbitch? You're naked. You don't have to do anything because they tied you up. You got Penelope Cruz kissing you. Then you got Salma Hayek kissing you. And kissing you pretty passionately. And then Penelope wants more of it. I'm like, again, Steve Zahn, you lucky sumbitch. Someone please ask Steve Zahn about that. Just hot damn. Until ultimately, you know, they get him out of and they kidnap him, but then sooner than later they show him the evidence and he starts to believe in them. And the movie kind of, I wouldn't say flounders, but you're kind of wondering, okay, where's this going? Now Steve Zahn's going to help. But he's doing it because it'll be right to help the people get money, while some of the two leads maybe want a little bit of personal vendetta because of that. But you see about 2 or so bank heists. Just before that, you saw a bit of a montage, which I thought, you know, it would have been nice to see like one bank heist with the two of them working together in tandem, Salma and Penelope, to show what they've learned, to show, you know, Salma throwing knives here, her shooting gun there, and they don't have to hurt anybody, but showing their skills. The fact they do that in like a quick montage, I thought they could have used a bit more building up in that aspect. The two banks you really see, it's in one, some of the bad guys are surrounding the bank, and these Penelope has to keep throwing this dynamite up, catches a chandelier. They're able to hide in the safe. You had this big explosion that blasts a lot of the people back. Nice work on the stuntmen. Nice hard work. And decent explosion too. Another one is this time Salma Hayek has to go get the safe, but it's a floor activated trap, so there's this 1-inch margin. So she has ice skates. She's doing ice skates back and forth while using this thing to balance herself. It's a very playful, lighthearted movie. And I guess the one noteworthy action scene, spoiler alert, is the train finale. Because after that second bank heist, they get caught. They're on this carriage, but then it gets attacked because the locals love the Banditas, and they get them out of there. Then they realize that Dwight Yoakam wants to get out of Dodge and is going to deal with this gold, but that's also a trick because Dwight's going to take the gold for himself. Our three leads get there, and you have also Steve Zahn's fiance happens to be on the train, and one thing leads to another. Starts with this slow mo sequence where it goes. The camera will go like from this to this to this to this, back and forth. Everything's done in slow motion. Throwing a knife, the knife's going over here. Him shooting, it goes over here. I mean, the CGI might not be the most authentic looking realism, but that was a scene that was still fun enough. Didn't last too long, but it was a fun enough little scene. But that's the thing, this has to be a direct-to-video movie. I'm sorry, I looked it up and I already forgot, but the film, there are funny banters and moments with the two banditas in question. I think the chemistry between the two helps the movie work at the very least as a time waster. But it's definitely fairly lighthearted, and I guess it depends that if you start watching the film, you see how these two interact with each other, if that's going to make you care at all or not. Well, I guess it was meant for theaters, maybe? It said $35 million budget. 18 million worldwide? Wow. 20th Century Fox, I mean, I guess it was meant for theaters. I'm surprised. I am shocked about that. So, I mean, yeah, I don't think there's really a theatrical worthy venue of a movie. Because it just doesn't have the spectacle, the action, the excitement of those westerns. Doesn't have the mood of the Clint Eastwood, Ennio Morricone, those type of the music, all that stuff, the mood, the atmosphere, like those westerns. It doesn't have the dadgum action like Young Guns. So it's like it's more comedic. It's trying to be more humorous. And I do think the two leads are fairly decent in it. Like I say, that back to forth I didn't mind. As for the rest of the stuff, like I said, Steve Zahn, he does a couple things like a CSI, fingerprints and stuff. I think that's why he's able to deduce that Salma Hayek's father had been murdered, poisoned. Not a heart attack or whatever they said, the official story. But he doesn't really use any of the CSI stuff later on that I remember. It's more of him dressing his costume to bring either Penelope or bring Salma in to showcase the joint before they rob it. But granted, I still like Steve Zahn as an actor. Like I said, it's nice to see the other two actresses as well. So yeah, I mean, Dwight Yoakam, it's nice to see him as the bad guy. Like I say, he's a good character actor. It's nothing that I found insanely memorable or anything, but two hot ladies, good chemistry with each other, bouncing off each other, feeling at home with the material. Maybe because it takes place in Mexico, maybe something else altogether, but like I said, they felt comfortable in their roles. I mentioned, this fun, quirky humor, like Penelope is good at controlling animals, as in, getting a horse to back up, or getting a horse to do what she wants it to do. Yeah, Luc Besson wrote the film and produced it, so. And the only semblance I see is that one slow mo bit. But other than that, it's like, yeah, sure. So. I'm trying to think what else there is. They say overall, one of those films I didn't mind. Didn't mind one bit. And again, when I say I didn't mind, again, I wouldn't say I loved it or watched it yet. Like it's more action beats would have been nice. Would have been nice the showcase. I say spectacle. I mean like the way westerns are shot with the great landscapes and the backdrops, and I don't think this has as much of that compared to other films. It's definitely trying to follow through on the star power of these two lead actresses. And maybe they just want to do something a bit different and so they succeeded. I think the directors just made that last Pirates of the Caribbean film, which I never saw. I only remember the first one, honestly. I'm trying to think. Yeah. Like I said, it's a film I thought I would hate a lot more than I did. I keep repeating the words lighthearted and playful. Is that kind of a little bit of energy that the two leads had was a bit infectious and was hard to hate on the film. So I don't hate it. Like I said, a bit more action would have been nice to have in there. But either way. With that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye.